And advanced tip all free-to-play players should be doing right now to maximize the potential of your account, with a bonus tip at the end, so do stay till then to not miss out. Now, all tips here in this video is based on the experience of many free-to-play players I have consulted with. It worked for them, so it's going to be your choice to follow or not. Number 1 is character leveling. Now, even though we all know that the maximum level we can get a character to is level 90, however, doing so for every character you build will cost you a tremendous amount of resources, mainly Mora and XP books. So a general rule of thumb when leveling up your character in your account is, for your DPS character, you want to get them to 80 plus, meaning hitting level 80 and getting the final ascension. Now, if the character scales with attack stats, you can leave them as is and they're basically at their maximum potential. However, if the character scales with HP, defense, or if you're focusing on swirl damage on an Anemo character, then leveling up to 90 is recommended, as there will be a much greater difference. Now, explaining why we do this is going to be very long and it is a topic of a whole video for itself. Same goes for your support character. If you're not using a certain character for damage purposes early on in the game, then you can just leave them at level 70 plus for second passive unlock. Now, after you've already built the character you want, then it is recommended that you work on leveling all of your character to 70 plus so you can get the 3 fates from the ascension rewards. Number 2 is character talent and crown prioritizations. As you've known, the talent level makes a pretty big difference for your character. However, it does cost you a lot, even more so if you're working on crowning, as there are a limit to how many crowns that you have right now. So, on which level is actually enough? Usually talent level 6 is the base for any character that you're using, because once you get past that, weekly boss materials are required, and the sweet spot is going to be talent level 8. If you have enough materials, then level 8 talent on any skills that you will be using the most on the character is recommended. For DPS character, that can usually be all 3 of your skills, and support character are generally either E skills or bursts. As for crown, you almost never need to crown a skills for your character to do well, as level 8 is already good enough, but for certain character, especially your main DPS, crowning their highest scaling skills does give you quite a big difference in damage output. So this will be depending on which character that you've decided to be using them the most and invest into them. Number 3 is weapon leveling. Aside from talents, weapon level will also give you the highest return on investment. Therefore, leveling up to level 90 on any weapon you will be using is recommended, especially for your DPS characters. Support character weapon can stay at level 80 because sometimes you're just using them for the second stats like energy recharge or EM, as well as their weapon passive, but if you can level it up to level 90, it is still the best. Also, weapon level materials are some of the things that you can farm for free in the game. Not even resins are needed, so as a free-to-play players, you should already be grinding this out every single day. Number 4, we'll talk a bit about the weapon banners. Now, when speaking about the weapon banners, we tend to hear things like, weapon banners are a scam, they are rigged, it's not worth it. While those are true to a certain extent, if you're a free-to-play player, then pulling on a weapon banner is not really healthy. Always try to use free-to-play weapon options for your characters. Some characters also have amazing free-to-play options like the prototype crescent for Ganyu, the black tassel for Zhongli, for example. Now, the damage output will be slightly less than their signature 5-star weapon, but going for this will save you a lot of primo gems to pull on the next character banners. However, going for a signature weapons of a character at times will give you a lot of damage difference. For example, Hu Tao's Staff of Homa or Ganyu Amos Bow. So the weapon banner is not always going to be a hard no, but it depends on, for example, if you love the character you're playing and want to try to go for their best weapon, then that is going to be your choice. Number 5 is going to be artifact stats versus set bonus. Whenever you're building a character, you usually look for the character character best sets and go for that. But farming artifact is locked behind RNG and it is a pain in the ass to get good stats, unless you're pretty lucky. Especially when you're building a 4-piece set artifact, it is even harder for you to get perfect stats. And you have limited resins for a free-to-play players when you're not doing refills every day. So here's something that is recommended, which is that you should always prioritize good artifact substats over set bonus. As for, let's say, an artifact combination that gives you no substat whatsoever with 70% crit rate and 250% crit damage, this is going to help you deal a lot more damage than a 4-piece set that have absolutely no crit rate or crit damage whatsoever. So just keep that in mind, because rather than wasting your resin trying to perfect an artifact set bonus for a character, you can just save that and start building another character that you should be building. Number 6 is weekly boss. There are 5 weekly boss at this point, but that's going to be 6 soon when patch 2.5 arrive, where the Raiden Shogun weekly boss comes. Now, as you've already known, you only get a 50% resin discount for 3 of them. And so, for example, if you are going to be doing all 6 of the weekly boss, you are going to be required a 270 resins spending. And so, usually it is always recommended that you will only be going through 3 of the weekly bosses for the weekly discount, because you can save up to 180 resins, which is a whole day worth. Now, if you've already got to the world level of 7 on 8, then you should usually already have enough map from Chive, the wolf boss, and Divalin. The weapon billets are not going to be very necessary these days, as there are now many good options that you can go for. The artifact sets from Gladiator and Wanderer Troop can also be collected from other world bosses, so do keep that in mind and try to go for only 3 weekly bosses that you actually need the most. However, that doesn't mean that you should skip all the weekly bosses, because there's also the weekly battle pass mission of doing 3 weekly boss for 1350 battle points. Now, speaking of resins, the number 1 rule you should already know is not to overcap resins. It's your life source in Genshin Impact. When it is capped, you will not get any more. However, the more important thing is also that if you've already farmed everything that you need and not sure what to do with your resins, then don't actually waste them on stupid things. You should always plan them out. You can always try to farm a better artifact stats for your character, but if you've already have a good enough piece, then just accept it for now. Instead, go farm ley lines. Ley lines are very important for getting heroes wit and money, and these are universal material in the game that you will be constantly needing. Number 8 is going to be the web event. Now, Genshin Impact has a lot of web events. For example, like the Hold Your Lab daily check-in that is constantly going. That usually gives you a pretty decent amount of primo gems and some other rewards, so don't ignore them. Number 9 is going to be Abyss team build. Abyss is very important source of primo gems, especially in the end game. Getting 36 star will give you 1200 gems every patch, so it's very important to build character that will help you clear the Abyss. Now, the most used character in the 2.4 Abyss at this point in time are currently shown here. If you see this, there are Bennett and Sincho, who are 4-star character in the top 10 picks. In fact, they are currently in the top 5. So it is very important that you should be building these 2 characters ASAP. Other 8 are the 5-star limited character. It would be great if you have a few of these characters. Now, if you don't have them, then first and foremost, Kazuha will surely be getting a rerun soon, and being the most picked character, it will be a good decision for you to start saving for him. Zhongli, if you still haven't got him from his banner right now, then it is recommended that you get him. His shield is still currently the best in the game, and it is still very useful in the Abyss, even though there tend to be monsters that ignore shields at time, but at this point in time, it is still not very constant. He's already on his 3rd rerun, and you will have to wait a pretty long time until he's going to be back, so do keep that in mind. Raiden Shogun, she's coming in patch 2.5, and her best team comp at this point in time is the Raiden national team with Raiden, Bennett, Xiangling, and Xingqiu, who is seen to be breaking the Abyss. This is one of the best team for the Abyss currently. It is really free to play friendly. The only thing you need to spend on primos is getting Raiden Shogun. The rest are also 5-star characters who are disguised as 4 stars. Now you don't even need Constellation or any 5-star weapon for Raiden Shogun. So if you don't have a good team for the Abyss, stay for Raiden Shogun, build up Xingqiu, Bennett and Xiangling, because I am sure until you get to the Abyss you've already got 3 of these characters, and then one of your Abyss team would be very good to go. Ayaka is the 6th most used character in the Abyss at this point in time. She is amazing for perma freeze team and very useful in the Abyss. She might be getting her 2nd rerun sometime soon, so if you want you can skip other character for her. Ganyu is the 9th most picked character. Her pick rate has decreased it quite a bit from the introduction of Ayaka, but still she's one of the best character in terms of DPS and support at this point in time. She's also very free to play friendly and easy to build, and she's also on her 2nd rerun right now, so if you enjoy Ganyu you can still considering getting her. Albedo and Hu Tao, since they've both got their 2nd rerun not too long ago, their 3rd rerun is going to be taking quite some time, so it's not going to be worth saving for them, and instead you should be considering the other characters that we've talked until now. Number 10 is the future banners and FOMO. The main reason why we play Genshin Impact is not because of the beautiful open world, not because of the combat, not the story either, but because of the waifus and a husbando. Am I right or am I right? So character banners are something we're always looking forward to. Now speaking of future banners, at this point we have Yae Miko's and Ayato as the new character. We also have reruns of Raiden, Kokomi, as well as maybe Kazuha, Fenty, Ayaka in a near future. Also, Genshin Impact version 1.7 was changed to patch 2.0 with the release of Inazuma, so it's also possible that patch 2.7 will maybe patch 3.0 and Sumeru will be released by then. Now if that happens, then there will be a lot of new characters, some of which may be Dendro characters. It's already patch 2.4 right now, so 2.7 is just 3 versions away. And so there are a lot of new characters coming non-stop to the game. On first glance, all these characters may look very tempting and feels good to have on your account. Plus the fact that they are limited have created a lot of FOMO, which is the fear of missing out onto player, especially free to play, pushing these players to look for ways to start spending money, because that is the reality of all gacha games. But in actual reality, you just have to pull yourself back and ask yourself the question of, do you really need this character on your account? How long will you be using them before swapping them out for another character on the team? Therefore, the so-called smart decision is needed here. And there's no need for FOMO either, because now knowing that MiHoYo is starting to give more reruns banner every single patch. So if you don't have enough Primo Gems for the character you want now, you can just save patiently for them and wait for them to come back. And speaking of smart decision, here is a bonus tip on that, which is you should look up as much information as possible on the character you're planning to go for, mainly on official reviews of the characters or other comparison between different characters for in-depth knowledge. You should also test the character out yourself so that you can see exactly if you like their playstyle or not. This is something that you may have already known, but it is important to talk about again. Now, if you're interested in in-depth character reviews and comparison, my YouTube channel focuses on that, as well as other in-depth character builds and free-to-play players videos. So if you're new to the channel and have enjoyed the video so far, I'd like to ask you a favor of slightly scrolling down and click on the red subscribe button to not miss out on future videos. I really appreciate you guys sticking till this point of the video, and with that I wish you a super day and I will see you on the next video.